Meeting order for the Board of Works and Safety for Monday, February 3rd. Can we do a roll call, please?
Member Martin? I'm here. Member Olson? Here. Member McDermott?
Here.
Request approval of January 6 minutes.
So moved. And seconded.
Motion is second. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? I think the big item we have on the evening's agenda is a conversation with Matt, discussion regarding the handling and removal of healthy trees from the city right away. Matt, would you like to come up and tell us what you're...
I've had a gentleman from Arbormetrics, who is a contractor for NIPSCO, contact me, and he said that NIPSCO has changed their line clearance standards from 10 feet to 15 feet, which may not sound like a lot, but literally any tree within 15 foot of a wire, they're wanting to remove completely. And so for any healthy tree to be removed from the city's right of way, it's in our ordinance that the Board of Works has to approve that. NIPSCO is obviously doing this as a line clearance. I don't know what legality we have. I need some direction on my end, because he's going to contact me each time. And obviously, if it's a dead or dangerous tree that they're wanting to remove, I'm going to let them pay for it to remove. But if it's a healthy tree, I guess, Kim, do I have a right to, if I don't see an issue, do we have a right to deny that? Or is that something that we don't have any control over anyways?
That's a question. I think we have an interest in maintaining and preserving the healthy trees. They have an interest in maintaining their power lines, but I don't think that gives them carte blanche. I would recommend on a case-by-case basis that we dispute with them. If you don't think the tree should come down or is a danger to their line and it's a good, healthy tree, I'd be willing to stand up to them on any given incident.
Gotcha.
Now, I don't know how a judge would rule, but they can't just clear the whole right away.
I just foresee there being several instances, and I don't know. Do we want to bring each situation to the Board of Works, or or do I use my judgment and say, well, I think this is healthy, I think they should take it to the Board of Works because I don't think they should be removed? Is that kind of the route the board would like to see? Or
I don't think I really want to see any healthy trees taken. And if we can do anything to save a tree, I mean, heaven forbid we are taking down enough trees in every other construction project around here, which is needed. I'm not saying we have to keep it. I also think, though, that it'd be nice to hear from NIPSCO to come in and explain to us, why is this going to happen, and what will happen if we don't? Because you're right. I think we need to do it on a case by case basis.
Have you got to find out how many trees we're talking about?
um,
Be the whole extent of most of the city in it.
yeah, and it's different by what class of line transmission it is. If it's a class 1 or if it's class 3. William Street's a class 3.
Which means it's what, a bigger.
More power is run through it. Feeds more places. But the other issue that I'm running into is I've been around long enough that I know trees. I can tell you people's kids planted these trees, and because I've talked to almost every property owner at some point in time. Well, he brought to me the other day 3 trees on a residence on William Street. And I know this guy has given me an earful before about the utility company trimming them, and they're going to remove them completely. And I don't want to be the one that says, yeah, we okayed it. And then the next house, the lady, we worked with her to trim these up for the school buses, but she didn't want them removed because her kids planted them years ago. And so
I remember that one.
It's trees can mean a lot of things to a lot of different, a lot of people. And I don't want to be the ones that they're looking at. And I would just as soon put the blame on NIPSCO and say, it's either out of our control or it's not out of our control. So,
I appreciate you, being Johnny on the spot and getting ahead of this thing, because that's important for us to do before we get there.
They don't want to trim just a 15-mile circle around. They want the whole tree gone.
well, they'll trim up just 15 foot if there's,
Which is going to look really.
which is going to look ridiculous. And it's not healthy for the trees. They're going to start shooting suckers and it's just not healthy for.
Are they gonna use, assuming they're using a subcontractor to do that? They're not gonna do it. And we've had a problem with subcontractors over the last couple of years that I don't, it puts me on a little bit. I worked in one of my college jobs for Goshen Tree over in South Bend, and they just butcher them. They just absolutely just butcher the heck out of a tree. And just almost for fun. It was these guys, because they're just there. It's just those guys in a
Their job, yeah.
and they just like, well, let's just make this look like, like they're architects, and chop it up. I think they should come.
And we work really hard on promoting the right tree, right place, which basically means, don't plant a 100-foot tulip tree underneath a 35-foot transmission line, but a lot of these trees have been here for a long time, long before us, maybe even before some of these utility poles. So, yeah,
Could you look at that a little bit, just so if we have a leg to stand on?
Mayor, I wonder if we should take the initiative and write them a letter that we've heard about this new policy. We're concerned about it. We're a tree city and we don't want any unnecessary trees damaged or brought down. Kind of put them on notice so they can't just come in here at night and say, hey, we didn't know.
Would you do that and legally send that to, do we have a contact information or contact person you've been working?
I will, lady that used to work for NIPSCO. Yeah, I'll get some contact information.
And you and I can maybe come up with a draft. Okay.
Yeah.
And at this point, I think that's the best we can do.
Yeah, and there's a lot of considerations with the trees. Like one of the things they are going to be doing is taking down all the trees along the John Street in front of Commons Park. But those are all silver maple trees that have fallen apart due to the ice storm or whatever, and it's going to potentially save us money by them removing them. So, I try to play it well enough, but I know we're going to run into these healthy tree instances, and I don't want a bunch of upset residents at us because
They're gonna come to you and come.
Yeah.
So if they take out a tree, what's to stop us from asking them to replace it?
I don't know.
I mean, if they're gonna gut a tree,
Right.
if we did that in a construction zone, we'd expect them to replace the tree.
Yeah.
If they're cutting down a tree, then what's really the difference here? So,
And once again, it would be great to know if we had a leg to stand on to ask that of them.
Let's comb through the tree ordinance and see what we can come up with.
there's a state, there's a state ordinance that would give them permission to just rip the tree apart.
I don't believe there's anything at the state level. I believe it's all up to the individual communities to have their own.
So they just come in, so my thought is they're just kind of trying to throw their weight on where NIPSCO and we're gonna do what we want to do. And if you don't like it,
Oh, we've never had to deal with that before.
Well, and that's my concern is, with several projects, trying to get to the right person to get the right answer or to put them on notice has been difficult.
It is. They're a very difficult company to work with, and contacting them and their responses never been what I think it should be.
Right.
I'm guessing if they get a letter from our lawyer, that might get their attention a little bit, but maybe
I
not.
doubt it. Honestly, they'll do what they want to do and best we can do is try to head them off and be
I
ready.
think there's some parts of town where maybe a little tree thinning might not be a bad thing, but
That's not their interest.
no,
They just clear cut it and
we're
not
not
worry
talking about
about
the
it.
Arbor Club, are we?
What's that?
We're not talking about the Arbor Club.
and 5 feet's that's a good amount. to expand their buffer zone.
Absolutely it is, yeah.
I just think you take a tree out, you gotta replace it. That's our rule in the city.
And the tree board is currently doing a street tree inventory. They started in the southwest quad of Angola. And not only are they documenting what trees are in the right of way and what kind of shape they're in, but I've also asked them to find planting locations for right of way trees that aren't an interference with a line, so that we can potentially, if NIPSCO takes down a tree, we can have a spot already picked out that they can replace a tree with.
I like that.
Would they have to? I'm just trying to figure this out. Would they have to say, you know, here, this tree, we're gonna take this tree, we're gonna take it, just have some guy go on with a, you know, paint sprayer and we're gonna take this tree, take this tree, take this tree, so they'll know a little bit before they do it?
He generally contacts me and he'll ask me to meet me on site and he'll show me the trees that he's interested in. We've never had an issue because
So that's right. I don't mean to interrupt you, but so then they do that, then how quickly then do they cut it?
sometimes it takes a while.
Okay. So,
So
but it could be that day, potentially.
I don't think so. The wheels just seem to spin pretty slow there because that's Arbormetrics. And then they have to bid out the contracts and to another subcontractor. So it takes some time. So,
And we're not the only city going through this.
well, anybody that is NIPSCO services. So, I mean,
Yeah.
this just got brought to my attention a couple of weeks ago and it was like, I know we're going to run into this. Let's at least know how we're going to respond to it when
Yeah.
the situation arises, because it's going to.
If they have to come for every tree.
No, that would, can't do that. I mean, there has to be some understanding before they even start.
With that come for every tree, they're gonna think twice about having to help us with gas lines.
Okay, let's do it this way. Any wire that's in 15 feet of our tree, we're gonna cut the wire. Right? It was just a thought. You want to make a motion to direct?
Yeah, I would
send a letter?
suggest we have, I make a motion, we have Kim and Zach get together and propose a letter to be sent to NIPSCO addressing our concerns and trying to get some way to fix this, or at least to deal with them.
I'll second.
Okay, we got a motion, a second, any discussion? You good on that?
Yeah. So basically for now, if I get contacted about any healthy removals, I'm going to tell them they need to get permission from the Board of Works.
Yes.
All right, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Department head report. Brian, have you got anything for us this evening?
Nothing for me.
Kim?
Nothing, Mr. Mayor.
Rita? Nothing. Matt? Chief?
I have one thing, it's, you guys do help us out from time to time with our officers. Just wanted to let you know that one of our canines were euthanized today.
Which one?
Zara, and Brian Knowles dog. Very quick onset, something it was gonna cost an excessive amount of money to diagnose and to take care of and
Hip
continue.
dysplasia or something, wasn't
It
it?
was something to do with hips. And we're looking at chiropractic work and all different types of things, and it just wouldn't work out. So she was
Sorry.
put down just before 11 o'clock this morning. So
Terrible thing. Yeah. Terrible thing. We thank the Zara for service to our community. It's actually a police officer.
I'm sorry, let me try to get another document.
it will. I haven't got to talk to Brian because he's experienced. He just had a new addition to his own family.
I was thinking,
So as soon as Brian gets back, and I can sit down and talk and see if he's interested.
what is your thoughts to do that?
I would love Brian to take another dog. If it's another officer, we have such a young department right now. Both Darren and I thought we would probably wait at least a year, if not 2 years, before putting another younger officer through that program.
They're a very well-behaved dog. If you got into the patrol car, you wouldn't know there was a dog in the back. You could
Yes.
ride for hours and never know there was a dog back.
And we got her second hand from Allen County And she was a great dog for us.
Oh, I would never want to challenge the dog, because I think it probably could have taken your arm off very easily.
They came to my summer government class. That was fantastic.
Any other business this evening? Hearing none, the next meeting will be Monday, March 3rd. We are adjourned. Thank you. While the council members are here on a new business for the council meeting, there are 2 bond ordinances, if you'd like to review those, although you're not going to read them both in 15 minutes. If you want to look at them before we get to the council meeting.